welcome to Doctor Who Reviews, Oh Dear God, Why edition. So last week, Kuchiri picked the Ark. Don't know why he did that, but...
Revenge.
yeah, I kind of have brought this upon myself. For an April Fool's joke you weren't even supposed to be a victim of, but there it is.
Hey, at least you now know that I'm very serious about getting this show done, right?
Very serious, yes. I now know not to think twice before I do stupid April Fool's pranks like that in the future. Trying to troll everybody. A little bit different this week because there's only one co-host. I only have one co-host. Frezno.
Unusual guest.
Yeah, Frezno was given the out to not discuss this episode, and he took it. And Kat's not here either, so I'm joined by my one co-host. Look what you made him do. Look what you made him do. Just look what you made him do. It's Kuchiri.
What's up?
What's up, Is? Why did you pick this?
So we're going to do things a little different than our normal podcast today.
Yeah, we are. We're not going to do a detailed plot dump. Yeah. Or rather, we are going to do a plot dump. We're not going to have like an extended scene by scene analysis because there's no point. It's not really that sort of story.
No, it's more events, and we could just talk about the events instead of scene by scene.
Yeah, which we'll do. So let's get into the context then of why you've picked this goddamn story. So this is a First Doctor adventure with Stephen and Dodo. And poor Dodo...
Dodo's first adventure, right?
Yeah, poor Dodo got the shaft in the modern day with the amount of stories that she's in that don't fully exist anymore. The stories that, as far as I know, that are complete that she's in, this, the Gunfighters, and the War Machines. So the War Machines is the story she leaves in halfway through. So not the best time in the TARDIS for Dodo Chaplet. Rest in peace, Jackie Lane. And not the best time, I would say, perhaps for the show itself, because William Hartnell wasn't too far away from leaving either because of his health problems. Which is a shame. But yeah, the arc.
He left by the end of this series, right?
I think it was the end of this series. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dodo had gone to be replaced by Ben and Polly. Stephen had gone, and then he regenerated into Patrick Troughton. And then
no. Hartnell went 2 serials into season 4.
Oh, he did.
And then Troughton finished off with the last 7 stories of series 4, and then was there for another 2 years.
I apologize. I'm not very familiar with this time of the show. But
that's why we're looking at our favorite TARDIS wiki.
Don't give away the trade secrets. Come on now. Pay no attention.
Somehow we're still not banned from this after our stunt during Legend of the Sea Boys.
Yes. Yeah. Pay no attention to that wiki contributor behind the curtain. He was fast.
Oh God, yeah.
He was well. I assume it's a he. They were fast.
I think we saw the name. It was a he.
Well,
no assuming genders. Pride Month.
Did you just assume their gender? Yeah. Pride Month! Get the rainbows out. No.
Also, yesterday was Happy Juneteenth too.
Yes, that's a holiday I have no context for.
It's when we abolished slavery.
Ah, right. Mm-hmm. I just remember a bunch of memes popping up online.
Yeah, no. So I was out. I'm currently looking for work, and so I've been doing some Uber Eats, food deliveries. And just because of the holiday, there was literally probably 5 times as many police officers out and about than normal. So it's like,
yeah, not good. Anyway. Not good.
Anyway, off of the interesting stuff, let's get to the.
Yeah, so this is I wouldn't say unique, but it's very unusual in the structure of these 4 episodes. Because it's more like 2 stories each of 2 parts.
This could have easily been something that like they could have returned to later in the series. Like it would have broke all the 4 parts they were doing, but like a 2-parter come back in like 10 episodes to return for the other 2-part.
I'm going to be honest with you, I love this idea. It's not the first time they did it. The Keys of Marinus was the first time they did it. But the idea that you have 2 parts setting up an adventure, and then they go to a separate adventure, but it's the same setting, but in the future. I think there's a lot you can do with that.
Mm-hmm.
I would love the mod to do that.
I mean, there's a lot of great ideas with this story.
Yeah.
And that's all we're going to say.
Yeah, just keep it vague. There's a lot of great ideas. Moving on.
There's a lot of great ideas. How do they execute them?
Yes,
think of the great ideas. Just think of the great. But how do they execute? Shh.
How do they execute the ideas? Squirrel. But yeah, I would see a modern day. Maybe perhaps when Russell T Davies takes over, we get maybe a 2-parter like this, where it's 45 minutes set in one setting, and then we move into the future or the past.
I will argue we had a 3-parter like that already.
Oh.
Series 1, Episode 2. Series 2, Episode 1. And I want to say Series 3, Episode 3.
Oh, Gridlock, yeah. Yeah, but
all of that's part of this whole New Earth trilogy.
That wasn't a 3-parter, though, in the sense that they followed on from each other.
Well, it was still the same settings and, like, returning characters and returning... Like, because you had, oh my goodness. Moisturize me. You had her...
Cassandra? Yeah.
Yeah, you had her from, the end of the world come back to New Earth. So
yes,
they explained... Did. Yeah, so Tennant explained, oh yeah, after your planet blew up, they just put in a new one in the same spot. This is a new Earth or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then Tennant came back with Martha Jones, and the episode ended in the same hospital, the same cat nurses, where we got the whole "You are not alone" from the face of Bo.
So that's
it's like
the same idea, isn't it?
Yeah, same sayings, characters move through. I mean, the face of Bo also showed up in the End of the World, End of the Earth, or whatever. I cannot remember what Series 1, Episode 2 it's called. But I will argue that we actually did have stuff like this. Now, under Moffat, I don't think we did anything like this.
The closest we got was the girl who died and the woman who lived.
Yes. And then Chibnall was doing this Daleks trilogy, but the third one didn't fit with the other 2. But the first 2, the Dalek specials, fit together. So he kind of also did it, but it's not like years and years into the future. Just a year.
Yeah, kind of.
It's not as direct as the arc, the first 2 parts and the second 2 parts. It is very similar to the 3 New Earth episodes from RTD's first era.
Yes, it is. It is. And we have had stories where they have connected on from a previous adventure, like a sequel, like The Curse of Peladon, The Monster of Peladon. I might have got those 2 reversed, but they're connected to each other, but they are not consecutive. Even though they are from the same Doctor, but Big Finish also does this quite a lot, where they have sequels or prequels to existing stories. But this is quite a unique structure, and I would like to see it again. All right, let's move on to the elephant in the room, shall we? The reason we're here, the reason why this story is so controversial, because they begin part 1 by landing in a jungle. Stephen, Dodo, and the Doctor, the first Doctor, and they think they've arrived in a zoo at first, but actually no, they've arrived on the
Ark,
the titular Ark, so named after Noah's Ark, and there are 2 races sharing this Ark together. We have the humans, also known as the Guardians, and the monoids. This is a monoid on the screen right now. Just look at it. Just take it in on all its goofy glory.
I'm going to say for 1966, that is a good suit.
I'm going to have to strongly disagree with you because it's a guy holding up a ping pong ball and a Beatles wig.
No, he's not holding it up. It's in his mouth, and the wig is covering his actual eyes.
Oh, he's not holding up the ping pong ball.
No, it's in his mouth.
Okay, I got that wrong, but that kind of makes it worse.
Well, you gotta understand, like, as a fan of like all kinds of sci-fi and Tokusatsu and stuff like that, those suits are a lot better than what some other shows' shoots looked like at the time.
That's an interesting opinion. I think personally this is a bad design. Not even going into the controversial aspect of it, I just think it looks a bit goofy.
Well, and the whole idea that's controversial is because it's on black and white.
Yeah, we should discuss that too. So,
yeah, the skin's actually meant to be green, not this
well,
dark.
is it definitely meant to be green, or did they just do when it was colorized for DVD? Did they make it green?
I think it was always meant to be green.
If it's always meant to be green, that potentially removes one element from it, but it doesn't stop the monoids from being problematic because it isn't just their appearance and the whole fact that it's in black and white. As I said, they share the arc with the humans / Guardians, but this is not an equal partnership in the first two parts. Oh no. The monoids are the servants of the humans. Man, how colonialist. That's basically it. Although in dialogue it is mentioned that they didn't used to be the servants of the humans. Apparently they came to the humans because they got wind of this plan to build the Ark and offered their services in exchange for a spot in it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can definitely imagine that perhaps it was a mutual friendship at first, but then the humans exploited it, and the monoids, because they can't speak in the first two parts, didn't really have the means to do anything against it. There was probably a crushing of the monoids by the humans at some point in the past.
So according to some of the outside stories, the monoids were conquered by the Dominators. They had their own planet, and then they were taken over, and then the humans found them and took them to Earth.
Yeah,
so kind of saved.
You're
Yeah,
talking about Kingdom of the Blind, aren't you?
yeah.
Which is a Bernie Summerfield story. Which
Well,
was long before.
This is from Mutually Assured Domination, Doctor Who and the Doomsday Weapon, and Kingdom of the Blind.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, so they don't speak. They're more mute, but they do take on the servant role.
Yeah,
For the Guardians.
They don't speak for now, but what happens basically in part one is that the Doctor and his companions are introduced to this ecosystem, this Ark, and it plays merry hell with it because Dodo has been complaining of feeling unwell. The second she leaves the TARDIS, yeah, she has the cold. Now, normally that wouldn't be too bad, would it? Because you just get plenty of rest, drink some water, put your feet up, and you're all right in a couple of days. But what if we introduce that common cold virus to a society that literally doesn't know what it is? What would happen then?
Society that has taken care of the common cold, found a cure for it, and hit a point where they didn't need to have the antibodies anymore.
Oops.
So, in episode 1, the leader of the Guardians and a few of the other characters are becoming sick with the cold. And the cold, you don't know how it was when the cold first came around a few hundred years ago, was deadly, devastating. It was kind of like another outbreak that we won't talk about that
Yeah,
happened
please don't.
recently.
I see remnants of that legacy every day. Please don't.
But it does become a bit of a pandemic on the Ark. And the second in command is blaming the doctor and wants to execute the doctor for bringing the cold onto the ship.
Ah, yes, the second in command, Zentos. Zentos the Freshmaker. Look, it's a stupid name, okay?
It's a sci-fi name.
It should be
They're all
Zentos the
stupid.
Lawmaker, but yeah.
Yeah. But the cold is also affecting the monoids, and a few monoids died. And you can kind of tell, like, even though there are servants to the humans, the guardians actually do care for the monoids, and a lot of them, like, I know you said servants, but like the whole guard has like them working together, even though
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, so it's not like outright slaves, but it's more
They're
one
an
has the
underclass,
ability.
aren't they? They're an underclass.
Yeah, they're an underclass. But the doctor's like, "Oh, it's just a common cold. I can cure this if you give me an afternoon."
As
And
long as, nobody dies, one of the monos dies. Well, crap.
yeah,
And the Zentos basically uses this to accuse Dodo of spreading it, and we're going to throw you out the airlock. And so part 2 is basically just a big trial.
the trial's going on while the doctor's working on a cure.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing they have this whole jungle ecosystem because most of the ingredients are just in the jungle.
There is a very interesting bit in the beginning of part 2, which doesn't really get elaborated on that much, unfortunately. And it's the Doctor considering whether he's contaminated any other planets he's visited, like this. Because Stephen says, has this happened before everywhere we've gone? And the Doctor didn't even think about that.
And this is also part of the first Doctor's growth. Because he went from being a, grouchy old man that kidnapped 2 teachers to learning about humanity and learning about being a good person from, his original companions to learning about how big of a footprint he is leaving going around doing his adventures.
Oh, yeah, the first Doctor's an asshole at the
Oh, yeah.
beginning.
But this is all part of the first Doctor's growth. And yeah, he does consider it. And eventually he does create the cure for the common cold and saves everyone that didn't die. Sorry, monoids.
He saves some of them on... Well...
Oh, we should probably mention what they're doing. So this whole arc, Earth is dying, thanks to global warming. And they found a planet, this promised land, this safe haven, thousands of light years away, and that's what the arc is traveling towards. They want to get to this planet to Refusus.
Refuses
Something
to,
like
yes. Refuses to.
Yeah. And they want to just colonize it, and they have a whole bunch of humans and monoids and little plates that they're all freezer dried. They just need a little bit of water to rehydrate. And
yeah, we do see at the beginning of it, actually, we do see somebody sentenced to miniaturization for making a mistake that could have put the Ark in jeopardy.
Yeah, because they have all of humanity on the Ark.
But the weird thing is, if that's what they're doing to get there anyway, is it that much of a punishment? I suppose it is because he's in suspended animation. He can't experience the Ark.
I wonder if in suspended animation you're still conscious the entire time, but you can't move.
Oh, not this ethical debate again. Because that sure was a bugger in Ranskor Coloss.
The Doctor doesn't kill people, just suspended animation.
Graham, if you kill Tim Shaw, I'm never letting you back on the TARDIS. It's all right, Doctor. I didn't kill him. I just left him to a waking nightmare. Oh, that's all right. Come back aboard.
So after curing everyone, the doctor and everyone else is freed from their charges. They
Yeah.
say their goodbyes, and everyone wishes them luck, and they hop in the TARDIS and reappear.
Yeah. And this is quite a clever trick. This is where the split comes of the two different stories. Even though it's
So
all called
they're
The Ark, they do have individual names.
yeah.
Part
So
one is part one's the Steel Sky. Part two, which we're on right now, end
is
of,
the
is the
plague.
Plague. Part three is the Return, and part four is, hang on a second here, the Bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Thebomb.com.
So it's now 700 years in the future. The Doctor is kind of perplexed on why the TARDIS took him back with 700 years in the future. And things have changed a little bit. It's still mostly the same, kind of. We still have the Guardians, and we still have the working class helping out the current Guardians. Um, but
Yeah.
you find out that shortly after the Doctor left, they developed a way to have the monoids speak, and the monoids decided that they were the stronger species of the two and enslaved the human population.
Yeah, and the Doctor indirectly caused this because of his curing of the common cold.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a butterfly wing situation, a butterfly effect situation. And the way that they show this is actually really quite effective. Because when they arrive on the Ark the first time in episode 1, there is a unfinished statue missing its head. And when they come back in 700 years, the statue has a head, but it's a monoid now.
Yeah, it was meant to be a human head on the statue, but yeah, no. Showing the monoids means that they have taken over, and our bad guys for the rest of this serial is Monoids 1, Monoids 2. Was it Monoids 3?
Yeah, Monoid 3 and Monoid 4. But there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
They're the other Beatles.
So you find out that, yeah, because of the whole, they can now communicate all this stuff. They've now taken over the human population. The human population is now allowed to live as long as they're servants. There's this whole religion amongst them about the Doctor that came and saved them in the past. One day he will come again.
Yeah, and they repay that by locking him up.
Mm-hmm.
Which is strange, isn't it? Because, he saved us, let's lock him up. And this is where I think that the story mishandles quite a few things, but if you were, let's say, an underclass, and you were saved by someone, and I know this is going dangerously into white saviour territory, so I apologise, but if you were saved by someone's actions, you would be grateful, would you not? And in the unlikely event that they came back, you want to show that appreciation, that gratitude. This is just turning the monoids into moustache-twirling villains and completely removing all the nuance and the subtlety of it.
I'm pretty sure what I think is going on at this point, and this is going to my main takeaways from this serial, which I kind of talked about last week. We're going to talk about here in a bit. Is so they're all going towards this promised land, and part of this whole thing is there's now this myth of this mystical old guy that showed up, almost killed the monoids with a cold, saved the humans, and then left with the promise of coming back.
That makes more sense. That makes much more sense, that reading into it.
Yeah, so the humans have taken this whole mythological old man that is magical, that saved the humans, as he's going to come back, he's going to stop these monoids. The monoids probably was like, he killed us. He didn't save us. And he's going to save the humans that we have enslaved. Kind of like this whole, Israel conflict that was actually starting to hit the boiling point around this time this episode came out. And if you're, you've been around sci-fi for a while, a lot of sci-fi shows does a lot of current events with their futuristic stuff. So I think like a year after this episode came out, a year and like 4 months was the start of the Israeli-Pakistani war. But this is after
Palestinian war,
16
not
years of
Pakistani.
just what? Sorry,
Palestinian war, not Pakistani.
uh, sorry, Palestine war. Sorry, lot of keywords.
It's okay. The Israel-Palestine conflict. You're right.
Yeah,
The
and
scars of which are
this is
still felt to this day, by the way.
it's still going on. I mean, that's part of the a big thing that's in American politics is who they stand for during the conflict. Do they stand for Israel, or do they stand, and
It's
that's
also a thing
actually
over here, but maybe not to the level it is in America, but there has been quite a lot of talk of people being anti-Semitic
Mhm.
in this country, particularly in regards to the left-leaning Labour Party, the more
Yeah.
left-leaning elements of the party. And some of it is, and some of it I will not repeat because it is vile, genuinely vile. But some of it seems to be a misunderstanding that criticising the Israel is to be anti-Semitic. Criticising the Israeli government is to be anti-Semitic, and I don't think that is. I mean, it's not my place to say that. It's a place for a
No,
Jewish person to say that.
and it's also up to people who actually study this. It's and I understand why it's such a political issue because this has been going on since the 1950s.
Yeah,
And so this whole thing about two races thinking that they have control of this promised land references to because Monoid One just wants that entire planet to just be inhabited by monoids,
yes.
kill all the humans. That's similar to what's going on with this conflict. They only want one of the nationalities in Israel,
Hmm.
or not Israel,
Palestine.
Palestine. Yeah,
But the
but
problem,
yeah,
of
no,
course, is that
it's
the two countries essentially occupy the same space, or some of the same space, and
mhm.
that's where the conflict comes from.
Yeah, and so that's what I got from this entire time. Now I understand, and I'm going to do my best Fresno impersonation. Not no malice, but I'm going to do my impersonation of a Fresno rant.
Go on, I am sufficiently braced.
Oh, let's not give the other race a voice. You see what happens when you have a voice? Repeating what he said from last week.
I lied. I was not ready for that. But please continue while I compose myself.
I'm sorry, Fresno, but I mean, you could take that perspective that yes, let's give this other race a voice. Oh no, now there are leaders, and I guess I don't know. I still don't see how anyone can see that as racist. But then Fresno also said before watching the episode, they read a lot of stuff on this episode,
He did
and I don't
indeed,
like.
and I'll be linking to some of that later on.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think it's because of the nature of American politics is why I'm more sensitive to this whole perspective of this is just the war that's been going on for 70 plus years now, conflict. Um, because I was very conservative 14 years ago before I smartened up. Um, but I worked at a hotel and I did nothing but watch the horrible Fox News the whole time I was there, and I just remembered all the conversations about that and about the whole war going on, and I don't, I don't see how the humans controlling the monoids can be constrained of racism unless you're directly looking for that.
No,
That's just how I see it.
I don't think it helps that the cereal's in black and white, and as you said, if it was green as it was originally intended, their skin colour, would it be less racist? Well, yes and no, because I would argue that the problem is not that it's skin tone racism. The issue is colonialism here.
Yes.
It's very colonialist, and then the whole idea that the response to it is to have the monoids suddenly take over, and then they inflict the same thing on the humans for 700 years, or how many years it was. I'm not sure that's the best way to handle it. Because again, the monoids have a point in a way that yes, they were the underclass, yes, they were being exploited, but the solution is to just do it to other people.
But that's just that mirrors what's going on in that conflict. One nationality had the land, and the other nationality had the land, and then the first nationality was like, "No, that's our land," and then that's how the conflict started.
You may have a point about it being an allegory for the Israel-Palestine war, which I hadn't thought of until you brought it up. So, well done with that.
But I mean, it's just from the first 2 episodes, it wasn't. There was no malice from the Guardians to the Monoids. They were working together. The humans talked the Monoids' sign language, so they were signing to the humans. So they had intelligence. It was just the humans were definitely in charge of this whole plan. And I'm not sure. I feel like if it was really an analogy for racism, the Guardians would be more outright to that. Kind of like how the Monoids are outright racist to the... I don't know.
The Monoids
are like, humans are stupid.
And Elle and other people screaming down my ear as I was about to say this, but I'll say it anyway. I absolutely accept that any racist connotations were probably accidental here.
Yes.
I don't think they went to write a story going, hey, we're going to depict racism between aliens and humans. And humans treating aliens as real objects, and how racist that is. I don't think that was the intention at all. It may be to do the whole Israel-Palestine thing. I don't know how prevalent that was in the UK in the 60s, but it may have been. You have to remember there was no internet those days, so news did not travel nearly as quickly or as accurately. We're talking about the internet, so maybe not that accurately after all. But why people just lie on the internet? No, that never happens. But I don't think there was any malice intended here, but it doesn't mean that it hasn't got problems, because it has.
No, I'm not arguing against that. I'm not saying anyone else's opinion is wrong.
No, I would never do that.
Yeah, and the thing is,
it's entirely valid. I partially disagree with it.
Yeah,
that doesn't make you wrong and me right, or you right and me wrong.
And then that's another thing. That's part of the reason why I love our podcast, and I've said this probably a half dozen times now since I came back. All 4 of us all have different perspective on everything. We all have different lives growing up. We all have, all of this stuff, right? Yeah. And it's just... everyone has their own perspective, and I'll call out racism and other things, right? I just don't see it here. Absolutely. But again, I also didn't read any of those opinions before watching the episode. I heard Frezno call it racist, and I was kind of looking to see if anything was racist, but I mean, I don't know.
So you don't see racism in this portrayal at all, and again, that is a valid opinion. I can kind of see where you're both coming from. I'm in the difficult position of being in the middle here, where I don't think it's as racist as Frezno makes it out to be, but that doesn't mean that there aren't elements that could be considered as racist, and that doesn't mean that there isn't a problem, because there is. But we will move on just a little bit here, because a couple of important scenes do happen. After a whole bunch of stuff in the kitchens, like the slaves, the human slaves now, the deposed guardians, saying, "Oh, we're going to have a rebellion. We're going to overthrow the monoids." It doesn't happen, and the monoids do have a personal human servant who joined them willingly. I think his name's Maharis or something.
Something like that.
And he is basically treated as a snitch. He is basically treated as a snitch, and It doesn't end very well for the Snitch, usually, and it doesn't end very well for him in part 4, but we'll get to that in a few moments. But then the important thing is that they send down a party to Refuses 2. They send Monoid 2. Honestly, I'm tempted to just call them John, Paul, George, and Ringo and just call them that. But
I mean, one of the Monoids, it was the actor was named John.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, John Caesar was apparently Monoid 4.
Damn it, he should have been Monoid 1, then the joke would have worked better. But I suppose we could call it, let's just call it Monoid 2. The party consists of Monoid 2, the Doctor and Dodo. Stephen is forced to stay behind by the Monoids. And then one of the Guardians, I think it's Yendam. Don't bother learning his name because he's not going to stick around for long. They go down to the planet to scout it out.
Learning non-companion names in Doctor Who? Shocker!
Something, 2 weeks to retirement. But they go down to the planet to scout out the conditions. And then 2 takes a conversation from the Ark with the other Monoids. And he's told to basically, the humans are not going to go on to Refuses 2. This is a Monoid-only planet. We're going to leave them on the Ark to die, and we're going to come down and enjoy paradise. And Yendam overhears this. There's a bit of a scuffle. And then he's killed. With the weapon, it's called a heat prod.
Another, it goes pew-pew, just imagine the lines coming from it.
This is what has kept the Monoids in power for 700 years. They developed these weapons called heat prods, which were originally like tools to help them work. And they were twisted into weapons that can either stun, injure, or kill. And they just kill Yendam straight away. But while that's going on, the Doctor and Dodo, I know they called it Dido then, the Doctor and Dodo have met a Refusian. But you wouldn't know it because it's invisible. And this is where the budget ran out, I think.
I was about ready to make that joke. So the Refusian voice talks to them and is not happy that they're bringing this conflict. He saw the murder. He's not happy with the Monoid number 2.
He's not happy with the Monoid, but he offers the planet to live in peace as long as they live in peace and they share it.
Yeah. And then, like, Monoid's number 2,
he blows up.
Yeah.
He blows up.
Yeah, he tries to get back in the ship to get back. Sorry, I did not rewatch it. This is from 3 months ago.
It's okay. No, that's the cliffhanger is that he goes to the launcher and it blows up. And it blows up because the Refusian has blown it up for him. Or with him in it.
The final episode starts with Monoid 1, worried about Monoid 2, decides he's not going to send anyone else to the planet. He's not going to send the rest of his species to the planet without more welfare checks on it to find out what happened to 2.
Another reason why they blew up 2 is that he got in the launcher and the first thing he does, he gets on the communicator and says, "Here's how we should destroy the Refusians." Well, the Refusians are listening to the conversation. Clearly, they did not give out brain cells when the Monoids were created, clearly, because that gets him killed immediately. It also has the side effect of stranding the Doctor and Dodo on the planet, of course. But it's strange, isn't it? They're like, oh, well, you can have this planet if you live in peace. Let's destroy the Refusians. Well, you die now. So in your idea that this is an Israel-Palestine allegory, would this make the Refusians the United Nations?
Yeah. Easily. Because the United Nations has been telling them to work together for, ever since the 6-Day War and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's also that's also why it's kind of political here, because, people are actually invested on who will be the ultimate victor of this conflict, even though they're meant to be working together for Israel. And basically, whoever we send to the United Nations as president has a lot of weight because it's the president of the United States.
Yeah.
Granted, the last few of the last half dozen or so presidents have not been the best person to send forward, but we'll leave that there.
I cannot make any judgments.
We are not making any judgments.
We're not making any judgments, but 45 was kind of a nightmare. No, but we're not making any judgments.
But no judgments, no judgments. But 43 as well.
43?
I mean,
is that Bush?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And 46 is okay. Could have been better.
It rather depends on who you talk to, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you.
Look at us saying no judgments and making judgments immediately. That's just so typical for us.
It is, but
we make absolutely no judgments. But this guy was a bit crap.
But 46 was a necessary evil to stop the bigger evil.
Wow, anyway. Necessary evil. Jesus. No judgments. This guy's evil.
God, I'm going to get so roasted.
You're just anyway. That guy in The Simpsons tugging at his collar again as he's wrongly accused of election fraud.
Oh God.
Yeah, I've just realised that was not the best thing to say in response. Moving on.
Nope. Anyway,
part 4 is the bomb.
There's a bomb on the ship.
Yeah, part 4 is the bomb, and it is the bomb in every sense of the word. This is where it all falls apart, basically. Both the plot and the story. So you've got Dodo and the Doctor stranded on the planet. Mono 2 is dead. They've got no means of getting the launcher back because it's been destroyed. So
did Mono 3 get killed by Mono 1 for insubordination around this point too?
Mono 3 doesn't die to insubordination. He dies to the humans, I think. Does he?
I don't remember. I think I know 1 kills one of the other monoids for.
Yeah, 4 survives. So I think it is the 3rd monoid. Oh, you're right. One of them was called John. God damn it. I'm just waiting for the page to load.
The wiki doesn't say if 3 lives or dies.
3 definitely dies. It's just how it dies.
Yeah, I know he dies, but
he was killed during the mutiny.
Okay.
So I think it was 4's faction actually that killed him.
Oh, okay. So yeah, because 4 was like, I remember we lived in peace years ago. You know, kind of deal.
There's a scene where some of the humans tried to subdue Monoid 2 earlier, and Monoid 3 comes in and kills one of them with his heat prod. That might be what you're thinking of.
Yeah, again, it's been 3 months.
And again, they do look alike, apart from the numerical designation on them.
Man, that just sounded so racist.
You know what I'm... This is a problem that they often have with monsters and aliens on shows like this, where they look identical. Yes, that does sound racist as hell, but I'm going to keep going with it.
They all look alike. Oh man.
We've crossed the point where we should have stopped, but let's keep going anyway and see what happens.
Yep.
That was very.
This was a great final episode of this podcast ever.
Cancelled. Just a big red cancelled word across a bit. Man, I can't believe that it's taken 34 years for Rain to be outed as a racist. No, that's a joke. That's not real.
Racist.
That is not real.
Everybody's a little bit racist. Oh, tell me you've heard of
Avenue Q? Yeah. Hell, I think Kat has referenced that on this show several times.
Everybody's a... Anyway, so
I do have the power to make myself look better by not putting this in the final edit, but you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just run with it and see what happens. I don't care anymore.
Yopo, you only podcast once.
Yopo? So I'd like to thank Kuchiri for his last ever appearance on this show. Now let's just carry on. So yeah, it's called the bomb, and it all revolves around trying to find the bomb, trying to defuse the bomb,
and gain the Doctor back with both the companions, and gain the humans onto refuge safely. all that stuff.
Yeah, and the upshot is that it happens with casualties, and most of the casualties are the monoids, because 4 instigates a rebellion. He starts to question whether the monoids are doing the right thing or not, but it's not really framed as a heroic act. It's more like, do you remember the third series episode with the Daleks in Manhattan?
Yeah, it's
Dalek Sec.
So after he became human, he's like, oh wait, actually this isn't so bad, guys. You like, oh god no!
But he still wants to conquer.
Yeah.
So they kind of framed Dalek Sec as better than the other Daleks, but still not like good.
So 46, got it.
Kuchiri. Kuchiri, what are you talking about? There's no Monocle 46. I know what you meant, but I'm choosing to ignore it. And the implications. Like 46. God damn it. God damn it. We're not going to get political or make judgments. Make judgments the next 10 minutes straight. Why? Why do I put myself through this every week?
I'm sorry, I have to cause enough chaos for 3 people, so...
Fair.
Frezno's going to wish he did not miss out on that.
Oh no, I think he is. He's going to listen... Well, he never listens to the podcast anyway, so he's fine. Nope. He still doesn't know of that edit I put in months back with him in the Mets outfit. He still doesn't know about that. Unless you listen to this right now, Frezno, in which case, yeah, you just found out about that, didn't you? Took you long enough.
It's been a secret I've kept for 4 months now.
Yeah, Kat and I just said we're not going to mention it. Like, if he finds out, great. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
I know you actually brought it up to him like 2 or 3 episodes after. He's like, "No, I watch it."
Yeah, and he still hasn't seen it because
he hasn't seen it.
He definitely would have reacted.
I
kind of made it so he couldn't possibly not react.
Anyway, so just to speed this up,
yeah, rebellion. Mono's mostly killed by each other. Humans survive. Bomb is found and defused.
The statue's the bomb. The humans get the statue out of the airlock. It blows up in space, and all the survivors wind up on the planet where, underneath their invisible overlords, they have to live in peace. To stay on the planet.
I thought, welcome our invisible overlords.
I mean, is there any other, like, the voice of God?
Let's stop there. Let's just stop there. We've already been accidentally racist in this during this podcast. Let's not also be accidentally sacrilegious, okay?
Oh God!
Or even intentionally sacrilegious, because that's the kind of words you don't want to open right now.
Let's just say goodnight, Rainiac.
No, we're not finished yet. Whoa. No. You picked this. You're not getting off the hook that easily. You will stay into the end.
We look around our burning, sinking ship. You're staying. I'm not the captain. It doesn't matter.
This is fine. No,
you need to make that edit now. Just the 2 of us, like, on a ship that's burning.
I might not include the podcast, but I should definitely Photoshop that. Just our avatars. This is fine.
It's fine. I need to find Derp. I lost Derp. 1 second.
Derp?
Yeah, I have a Derp.
Oh God.
One of my original.
That's the wrong chat. I'm in the wrong chat. No wonder it's not showing up.
I haven't uploaded it yet.
Okay, well you find Derp and I'll finish. So yeah, the bomb was under the statue. It's found and jets out the airlock before it explodes. Everyone is safe and alive. Yeah, that's Derp. I'll use that. Yeah, why not? I'm sorry. I'm very put off by that face right now. And the upshot is this. This is another moracle. Moracle? I've just invented a new word. ethical minefield. Jesus Christ. What the hell is that?
I was trying to do a video review, and the game talking about the game bored me, but that was part of
Commander
the game
Shepard
review.
with the dirt face. I've seen it all now.
Because it was a digital novel game that was heavily inspired by Mass Effect.
Okay, fair enough. Also, the snitch got killed during the fighting.
Everyone dies except those who want to live together in peace.
Just the monoids, most of the monoids, and Maharis, the snitch. And nothing of value was lost. No, that's a joke. That is a joke. But 4 does survive the rebellion that he instigated, along with his followers, and they're all on Refuses 2, and yeah, they are offered the chance to live together in peace as long as they coexist. Insert WWE, but can they coexist? Tag team meme here. And this, I think, again, is kind of the moral failing of this story, because you've just had 2 episodes where the humans were oppressing the monoids, although you've argued quite successfully that they weren't. Mm-hmm. Then you've had 2 episodes where the monoids were oppressing the humans, and they definitely were. And now they're expected to live together in peace, like there's going to be no hard feelings and no repercussions of the monoids' actions. Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
It sounds like they may have 16 years of conflict and then a 6-day war, and
oh God. I know that science fiction and Doctor Who has done this, where there are stories where alien, for want of a better term, villains see the error of their ways and they are forgiven and they do integrate into society. A good example of this would be the Zygon 2-parter in Series 9, where Bonnie is allowed basically to get away with what she's done. But I'm not going to complain about that too much, because we get that fantastic scene with the 2 boxes and Peter Capaldi acting his socks off.
And then you get the fantastic scene with the 2 Osgoads later on.
Yes, you do. I mean, the Zygons do it twice, don't they? They do it at the end of Day of the Doctor. They do it again in the Zygon Invasion Inversion.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Night Terrors, where he's not a villain, but the threat of the episode is being caused by the little boy, who is an alien. And probably because he is a little boy, he's forgiven and he just gets to live a normal human life with his parents. So they do this Doctor Who. They do have not happily ever after, but shall we say consequence-free endings for certain characters.
I mean, to just go more onto the whole sci-fi thing, you have Star Trek, the Klingons. Yeah. Klingons were like the major villain throughout the original series, and then starting with the Next Generation, you have one as part of the main cast, being the good guy. Same with 7 and 9, the Borg.
Yeah, this is what the arc has reminded me of. Thank you. It's reminded me a lot of the reboot of Battlestar Galactica.
I have not seen that.
And the monoids are the Cylons. Because
all I remember is that Robot Chicken sketch where everyone was a Cylon.
Yes.
No, but you also see this on bringing up Kamen Rider, but in Kamen Rider, because it's just like live action anime, you have a rival evil guy for the first 16 episodes of a season either die or change his ways for the rest of the series. There's no middle ground.
To Kamen Rider. How did I know that was going to happen?
I mean, come on.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it's the whole. And then the thing is, part of the reason why it's so often used in Kamen Rider is you could think anime, because there's a lot of anime, references and stuff in Kamen Rider. So you have your Vegetas, you have your half the cast of Bleach, stuff like that, right?
I get that. I just wonder if it's absolutely realistic to say, oh yeah, that there will be absolutely no consequences of what the monoids have done here.
If I were to write a follow-up, like the 14th Doctor finding them again all these years later.
Yeah.
I would write a history where the Refusions smartly put them on opposite sides of their planet and created like a tribunal, you know, a Refusion leader, a monoid leader, and a human leader.
Oh, that's
That
yeah, that's a bit that's interesting. Yeah.
yeah, and that, like the basically kind of like a United Nations thing, right? And over the last X amount of years, they have grown to this point. And what if like there's a terrorist group of both monoids and humans work together to try and undo stuff or something? I don't know.
That would be an
I
interesting
mean,
premise. Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's how I would do it. Like not have them live neighbor and neighbor at the very start. I think the Refusion showed in the episode that they are smarter than that with all the stuff they did. You know,
I'm not
blowing
disrespecting
up
your idea
monoid
for 1 second,
to
but I could very much be happy if the monos and the refusions were never referenced again, ever.
yeah, no, and I completely understand that, but mentally, I would have to assume, like in my mind canon, that they were separated completely and put on opposite sides of the planet. I have to assume that was
No,
the
and
case.
you've
They
done the
got
right
to,
thing there because the problem with bringing old monsters back is that if you don't give them a substantial twist, it's just including them for the sake of nostalgia,
yeah.
which for all of its good things it does,
Oh,
is
sorry.
sometimes a trap that Big Finish falls into. I love Big Finish, but with so many stories, they feel the need to include so many references to the past, and not all of them hit. Some of them do
And the
miss.
thing is, you know, you can only tell so many different kinds of stories for a race. But I mean, if they do like a follow up, you cannot have just a monoids be the bad guy. You cannot have just the Refusions be the bad guy. You will have to have the descendants of all three of these races, thousands of years into this harmony. You know, maybe there's a group that wants to overthrow and make like a like a dictatorship or something
Yeah,
with the monoids and the you know, and you can have it be a reference to another world event that I won't mention.
I do see where you're coming from. Yeah, another one that you're talking about, and I'm also not
Yeah,
going to mention it.
yeah. But the thing is, like, that's how I would do it if I was writing a 14th Doctor story that revisited this whole thing as a you know, I don't know, I just something to add on, right? Um,
No, it's
but
it's
yeah,
good. It's good.
you can't have the monoids as the bad guy. You can't have the Refusions as the bad guys. You can have the humans be the bad guys. Like it could be a human force that's like, you know, hey, 5,000 years ago we were enslaved to these guys. Let's kill them. You know, have them be like an extremist group, or it's a group, or if it's a mixture of the two. But you can't have, you know. But yeah.
And I'll just
Anyway.
finish it off. I'll just finish off talking about the actual plot here because there is a bit at the end because Doctor Who would do this in the first Doctor era. They would set up the next adventure at the end of the previous one, and they do it
Mhm.
here. So they go inside the TARDIS, and the Doctor suddenly just vanishes. And Dodo and Stephen think, okay, the Refusions have done this, bring him back. But then you hear the Doctor's voice saying, it's not the Refusions, it's something far greater than that. And so we finish one extremely problematic serial, and we go into another one because the next one is the Celestial Toymaker. I'm sorry, Jerry. Thankfully, unless that's ever restored to animation in full, we won't be doing the Celestial Toymaker because it's an incomplete story.
No, we could always grab the novel
We won't be doing
and
the Celestial Toymaker because it's an incomplete story.
or you know this whole thing with Neil Patrick Harris and one of the theories about Neil Patrick Harris. I mean,
If he is okay, spoilers for filming for the 60th anniversary stories, whatever it is. If he is Neil Patrick Harris is playing the Toymaker, if they don't make him a Chinese stereotype, I'm willing to give it a try.
yeah, you've seen his two outfits, right?
Yeah, and they're not. You got song and
Yeah.
dance, Broadway, and what looks like a toy maker.
And so, going back to my theory, I think the song and dance is like Neil Patrick Harris playing as Neil Patrick Harris, and then the other outfit is his character in the
I can't wait to
episode.
see if your theory is correct because that is outlandish as hell, and I kind of love it too.
I kind of expanded on more of my theory when we were recording.
Show within a show, you could do so much with that.
Oh yeah,
You could do
and like
takes on
I came up with
recasting.
a
Go ahead, sorry.
again RTD after you've heard my episode pitch from last week and my episode pitch from this week. Call me.
Yeah, I'm his agent.
Um,
10%. 10% up front. Uh,
no, but I had I came up with like a theory scene, with just how Neil Patrick Harris is an American actor. What if like this is like an American adaptation of the stories they've heard from the UK, and David
yeah.
Tennant's going to use his American accent, and the 14th Doctor runs into him, and David Tennant thinks it's an extra, says the line to the 14th Doctor. 14th Doctor, seeing his old face, is like flabbergasted, and David Tennant drops the accent to his Scottish accent and says, "I cannot stand these unprofessional extras," or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's how that's how you get into the finish the cold open.
You could do so much with the show within a show concept. You could like the recasting thing I talked about last week, commentary on that. You could do things with like dubs in other languages.
Mm-hmm.
You could do so much. So if that is the route they're going, that could be wild.
Yeah,
If that's the route they're going.
And the more they keep on air quotes leaking, did we ever get this many leaks for any of the other episodes in the last?
No, because
Hell,
Chris Chibnall is a spoiler phobe who keeps everything locked in a vault.
I'm even talking about Moffat. Like we had
would
rumors
let
that
things
David
leak
Tennant
out.
was coming back, but nothing confirmed until the trailer dropped.
Things did leak out during Moffat's time, and he was less, shall we say, militant about stopping it. If it happened, it happened. He was sometimes to react to it.
Didn't like the season 5 DVD come out with the final episode like 2 weeks before the final episode aired or something, and he had to call every single person who got that DVD early and be like, "Please don't spoil," and not a single person spoiled.
That is not a story I've heard of, but I can believe it.
I we're running out of time, but I do know I do remember something like that. But anyway,
Another thing that's one thing I do remember about leaks is that Series 8, the first 5 episodes, leaked on black and white, unfinished film before they aired. Because that's how we found out about Robot of Sherwood, funnily enough, and how that missing scene that was taken out after the beheading.
But didn't we? Oh my goodness, I am brain fried right now, and there's another spoiler alert from that filming. And this almost also confirms my theory again. But how much filming did we catch live from the Moffat era?
Some of it, I remember some of it. Let's Kill Hitler was spotted, the outdoor scenes, with Amy on a motorcycle, but it was Amy's stunt double in a red wig. So that was fairly obvious that it was being filmed for that. We would get some outdoor scenes leaked, footage leaked. We never got that with Chibnall because, as I say, he is a spoiler phobe who locked all spoilers in a vault marked "Do Not Open Until Broadcast."
Yeah,
and that's actually hurt.
I don't know. I feel like we wouldn't have this many leaks going on if RTD wasn't pushing some himself.
Well, we know that he did intentionally push some of the leaks for the 14th Doctor.
Yes.
To take everyone off the scent. So you could be right.
Yeah, and he bragged about, not a single person gets it right. So, and I don't know if you're paying attention to the leaked photographs, but there's another one with an actor in a tweed jacket.
Oh, and they say, "Oh, is this a double for insert Doctor here.
Yeah, and I'm looking at like, what if this is just the actor playing this? What?
Yeah,
Right?
what if it's just a man in a tweed jacket? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know.
Well, rumors and leaks will always go further than they have to.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because that's what sells. Man, extra in a tweed jacket doesn't sell. Matt Smith's body on set possibly sells.
Yeah.
You're going to click that. We are in the era of clickbait, unfortunately. We are in the era of sensationalist headlines, and that is going to attract people, like it or not. Also, I just gave away who it is. Yeah, people think it's Matt Smith.
Yeah. Oh, I also love there was like a rumor like Matt Smith has cut his hair short. Could this be a sign? No, he's had the same length of hair for a
Wasn't
while
he like
now.
carrying a shopping bag from Tesco's or something?
I mean, and it's like he had the same length of hair when he filmed Morbius. I mean, it's the length of hair he likes.
What do they
it doesn't
think?
mean he's going to
his costume, his 11th Doctor costume is in the shopping bag to hide it from the public? No. He's just gone shopping because he's a human being.
With everything that's been going on with like Tennant's outfit, if he is coming back, he would have, I don't know, not a bow tie, but what's the kind of tie that it's like the Texas tie, like you still, it's not quite a bow tie, but it goes like down
a cravat,
your chest and, huh?
A cravat?
I don't know.
I
would think if Matt Smith was spot on set, he would not be wearing the same tweed jacket shirt combo he was wearing throughout his series.
And also that this extra or whoever it is in the scene for like a second, just running. So
I'll link you the other one that's popped up.
Oh, and
it's dumb. It's like I'm not even going to put spoilers on this. Someone just saw someone in a tweed jacket and it was like, yeah, that's him.
Oh my god. What's next? Someone's on the set with red hair. Karen Gillan coming back to Doctor Who.
Yeah, see, and I think he's like right next to Neil Patrick Harris in that top hat, or someone else is wearing the top hat, but
like some poor Uber Eats or Deliveroo driver who happens to be female, red hair, just spotted on the set. Karen Gillan coming back playing Deliveroo driver? No. What the hell?
So police officer has to stop by and she has red hair.
Oh
look,
no.
She's actually a police officer this time. Not a kiss of crap.
Clara finds new job.
Oh my god.
And
the thing is, and because of the whole set that RTD and
Bad Wolf Studios,
Bad Wolf Studios has, wow. They can film almost all these scenes on that stage and still make it look like they're on set.
They can.
So, I mean, it's just, don't take any of these rumors as fact until it's confirmed by the way they've been confirming.
Never take rumors as fact until it's confirmed. I mean, that's a good advice for anything, really.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if Matt Smith is coming back, we'll probably see 2 hearts plus a Fez emoji.
And
5
then
seconds
people's
before
hearts
the
will stop
announcement.
because that's what they want to see.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they did that and it wasn't the 11th Doctor, it was somebody else?
Yeah. No, here's another thing. If before it's revealed that they're being on the set filming, they announce that they're an actor or actress being filmed.
Yeah, literally, that's why Neil Patrick Harris was announced ahead of time.
That's definitely not Matt Smith. Matt Smith is not.
Yeah, I see what you mean, because that's why Neil Patrick Harris's involvement was revealed so early.
Yep.
Because they knew he was going to appear on the set on Wednesday, and people were like, "Oh my god, that's Neil Patrick Harris."
Yeah, same with Tennant and Tate.
And they were really smart because they had him in a completely different outfit. So now that gets a bit of intrigue going. Oh, what the hell's going on here then?
And here's the thing. If this is like this made-up show in a show, maybe that person in the tweed jacket's their version of the 11th Doctor. Or
maybe.
The professor that comes after Tennant.
Maybe. I can't wait to find out, but we won't find out for a while.
Yeah, we probably should wrap things
Yeah,
up.
I'm going to do something a bit different because I don't think we have to do a an overall thoughts here because I think you can probably tell I didn't like it very much.
And I didn't like it either. It's
It's
a
just
lot of
dull.
great. I mean, we had our review earlier. The whole it has a bunch of great concepts,
It does. I mean,
and
the whole the two part thing is really clever. I just wish they used it on a better story.
they also the whole the cold thing that was pretty fresh in 1966,
That
which
was very fresh.
everything has used that kind of story in the 60 years since,
Good
basically.
God, it was only 45 years since the Spanish flu that killed millions.
Yep.
That probably would have been quite raw for some people watching it.
And the thing is, it also stems from whenever America was being colonized. Almost over 80% of the deaths to the Native American population was because of the diseases they were bringing
Yeah,
over from the UK.
yeah. Sadly, you're right.
Yeah, and the thing is, Indians had syphilis to bring back to colonists, so it was a two-way street. Anyway,
So let's instead of doing an overall thoughts, let's solve once and for all our side of the debate here. Is this story racist or not?
unintentionally racist.
Unintentionally racist, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I did not get vibes that they were in. This isn't Halo Infinite releasing a Juneteenth uh, emblem with the African word for baboon.
I beg your pardon, what?
Did you not hear about that?
No, because I don't know about Juneteenth. They did that?
Oh, yeah, no. And like 2 hours later, the name's changed to Freedom.
What in Sam Hill?
Oh yeah, no, that. So that was intentionally racist.
For the love of God.
But
Oh my God.
yeah, yeah. I'm having a hard time loading back up Halo Infinite.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, no, a lot of people got very upset about that.
I'm also not
But
surprised. I would share in
but
that upset. I think that's
but
horrific.
from the fact that the humans treated monoids as equals mostly, even though the monoids were clearly servants. They taught them the sign language. They helped them. They were worried when they were sick. To the moral of the episode is everyone needs to work together and be peaceful, if you want to call it a moral. But that was the message from the final episode. Like none of it was intentionally racist. Could they have probably picked a different color for the suits? Yeah, but
Yeah, you say unintentionally racist, but that doesn't mean it wasn't racist.
no. And the thing is, like, I will. I'm never going to say anyone's claim is fully invalid unless they're doing it in bad faith. So I will see that if a whole bunch of people see this as racism, they're not seeing. I'm not seeing what they're seeing, but I'm also not going to unless they're doing it in bad faith, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it's unintentionally racist. It's if 98 out of 100 people watch this episode and say it's racist, just because I'm one of the two people that didn't see the racism doesn't mean it's not racist. I just don't think whenever they were making this, they intentionally did what Halo Infinite did last week, 2 weeks ago.
I absolutely accept that whatever mistakes were not made intentionally to offend.
Yeah.
They still offended, however. And
Yes.
I know that, oh, you can't give offense, you can only take it. And I do accept that. And we're not the people to really judge this on because, we're both white. But, and I'm sorry to bring that up, but it is important to the context.
Yeah. No. And that's the thing. We're both white. We're,
And I
we
must
don't
say,
have we don't have an actual leg to stand on when we're talking about stuff like this.
Most of the criticisms I've seen of the story do come from people who are predominantly white.
Yes.
That I've seen anyway. Again, it doesn't mean that there isn't a coloured a person of colour backlash to this story. I just haven't seen it yet. Gotta get that out right now. But yeah, my opinion is also the same as yours. Not intentionally racist, but it's problematic as hell. And it's problematic as hell because they don't give the monoids fair and even treatment in the script. For the reason that you've said about that, yeah, that the humans, they were an underclass to the humans, but they generally treated them well. They didn't abuse them in that sense. They taught them sign language. They were trying to come up with communication devices for them so they could speak. And then the monoids are just, evil, portrayed as evil. It's very one-sided in favour of the humans.
Then that's the thing. That whole monos being evil could have just been from 600 plus years of misinformation. I mean, look at, not to be sacrilegious, look at all the religious wars that's gone on over the last 2,000 years.
Yeah. Again, I know the word evil is very charged, very charged, and there is certainly an element that the Monoids were justified in breaking out of their servitude. It's just they then took it far too far, and that's why it's not handled very well. There's no nuance to it. They just go from being oppressed underclass to mustache twirling villains.
Yep.
Who hate humans.
Because every story needs a villain.
No, it doesn't, though.
I know. No. I agree with you, but I'm just saying.
Every story needs an antagonist, but not all antagonists are villains. Well, most.
You also got to remember 1960s TV. They didn't have smart writing like that way back in the day.
That is true, yeah. And actually, when I say every story needs an antagonist, that's not strictly true. Most require an antagonist of some description, but an antagonist and a villain are not the same thing. Because sometimes the antagonist is actually a hero. Just leave that percolating. But there you go, we got through it. We got through the arc. We never have to watch this again.
Oh God, So I heard about this whole thing. Apparently, the plate is still named Juneteenth, but a color option of the plate was named Bonobo or Baboon.
No.
So it was hidden. It was hidden.
Why would you do that, though?
Oh God, no! I'm sure a handful of people got fired for that.
Oh, I don't want to wish anyone losing their job on it, but you think?
Yeah.
God.
No, this. Oh, that just makes it worse.
That's terrible.
That makes it worse that it was a hidden option. Not a hidden option. It was
that implies that they weren't even ashamed of it. They just hid it away because of the backlash. Oh.
And then the backlash happened, and then they changed it to freedom.
Why'd you have to go and tell me a thing like that now? Oh. Then again, you did pit the art, so you kind of have a history of these things.
I'm a horrible person.
No, I didn't go that far. I didn't go that far. Come on now.
No, but it's just like, Anyway.
Yeah,
I was hoping we were going to be done within like an hour, but now we've hit 100 minutes.
Of course we have, because that's just what we do. We hit a tangent and we roll with it. But it went for a good discussion. Now, he wasn't here by his own choice, but Frezno Inferno did record some of his thoughts about what he thought about the arc and whether or not it was racist. And you can listen to those thoughts right now.
Hello, Doctor Who Reviews. It's me, your virtual YouTubing friend, Frezno Inferno. And this is a bit of an interesting timey-wimey situation. I'm doing this like a day or two before they record, but as such, you're hearing it right after you heard what they recorded. So, I have no idea what these people said. These three fine individuals, or maybe two, if Kat was conveniently washing her hair or something. Pardon me. I have no idea what they said about the 1966 serial The Ark, starring William Hartnell. So, I can't possibly imagine. Perhaps their take aligned with mine. Perhaps they went on a completely different radical take, and all decreed in unison that I'm full of shit. But I have long upheld that I did not really want to review the arc because I think the arc is a racist fuck of a story. And there are several reasons for that, and I've been doing some reading about it. Some articles written by colleagues of mine, but basically it all boils down to the monoids, who are, well, I don't know, they're like these aliens, and they're a lower class than the humans on the titular arc, and they serve as a servant class. And when that whole disease that comes, Dodo gives them all the cold. Nobody really cares. At first it's the monoids that are dying, but nobody really gives a shit until the humans start dying, because, oh no, oh, the humans, oh, the important white people are dying. Now it's a big deal. And, you know, several times throughout that whole tribunal, you've got the character Xenios. Look, I haven't watched the fucking arc for this thing. I've just been going off every. He's basically a big xenophobe and thinks that the time travelers are alien infiltrators sent to destroy the human race, and destroy our sanctity. And it's a whole lot of racist, xenophobic bullshit, quite frankly. And, you know, but it's being used as a typical stand-in because in the 60s nobody fucking believes these people and has to have them locked up for 100 minutes because otherwise we won't have a plot and the writers got to eat. Blah, blah, blah. And then also you've got these monoids, which are a lower class, treated the lower class by the humans. And then they're freed and liberated. But we shouldn't have liberated them because now they're the evil oppressors. And they're the evil mustache twirlers who oppress the poor, innocent human race. And they're so evil and bad and they must be stopped. But they're also incompetent idiots. And so the lesson, kids, is never free the lower class and give them any power because they'll just turn around and oppress you. Oh, no, we can't give them any power or else they'll oppress you. Yeah, so that just means you gotta grind your boot down onto their face to keep them down, or else they'll put their boots on your face. I find that reprehensible. That's the takeaway I had from the arc, and, you know. I mean, the idea of, it's actually two-parters, and you jump 700 years in the future to see the consequences of what they did, that would be a neat idea in another story. And I'm sure some Doctor Who stories have done it, but no. Hard no on the arc, and that's why I abstained to it. I mean, I was debating it. It could have made a good, interesting debate, but, you know. Also, at the end of the day, we've been doing these podcasts where, like, pardon me, where it's only 3 of us as opposed to the 4, because, you know, we have a little rotating thing going. And honestly, I haven't rotated in a while, so when Rain gave me the out, I said, yeah, I'll take the out. So, I don't like the arc. But if you would like some more reading to support my opinion of the arc and to hear from that side of things, I have some articles you can read. You can read Elizabeth Sander's TARDIS Eruditorum post on the arc, which is a good starting point, but it's not the be-all, end-all. Because as she added recently in her Eruditorum post on the Toymaker episode, which is right after this, there's a 1-2 whammy for you, she wrote that 11 years ago. And so, you know, it shouldn't be the be-all, end-all of critique because God knows that, like, you know, Doctor Who criticism has evolved in 11 years. So, you should look up more recent takes. But it is a good starting point. And if you want another jumping off point, a more recent post, I'd recommend BJ O'Shea's Chair with a Panda blog on this serial, The Arc. It doesn't really get into the racism with the monoids, but it does get into the whole xenophobia with the Ark Dwellers. And it has a lot of interesting thematic stuff about production history, and how this is Dodo's first story, and how the fact that she's in a Crusades outfit is sort of an allegory for colonialism, because this is basically a colonialism, too, so fuck colonialism. But yeah, so use those 2 articles. I will give Rainiac the links to those 2 articles to put down below. So please go to those 2 articles for your reading needs and see some other takes on the arc. I hope that my pals at Doctor Who Reviews agree with me, but if they don't, it's fine. I can live with it. I liked Orphan 55, for God's sakes. I liked Orphan 55, for God's sakes. And they don't like Orphan 55. Potato. But it's me next on Doctor Who Reviews. And since I'm in the editing suite here live on OBS, I can do a neat thing. I can say bye-bye to William Hartnell and Dodo and Steven here. And I can say, next time on Doctor Who Reviews, Tom Baker in Meglos! Yes, you are seeing this correctly. That is veteran 4th Doctor actor Tom Baker made up to look like a fucking cactus man. We are getting some gonzo. We are getting some jank. I mean, I don't know if you're going to like it. It's not exactly the highest in the Doctor Who pantheon, but it's just weird enough and wild enough, and from season 18, which underrated classic Doctor Who season IMO. Absolute bangers like Warrior's Gate and State of Decay and Legopolis. Yeah, Legopolis. We definitely should do Legopolis sometime, but for now, it's Meglos. Tom Baker is a cactus, and you're going to deal with that shit next week, so see ya!
Thank you, Frezno, for those thoughts. And yeah, next week is Meglos. Now, I know
Never
what
heard of
Meglos is, you don't. So I'm just going to tell you right now. Picture Tom Baker as a cactus.
Ew.
Yeah, that's Meglos. That is the crux of Meglos. Tom Baker plays a space cactus. There's more to it than that. It is wild. It is out there. It's gonzo. I totally see why he's picked it. I'll be honest with you. I was thinking of picking it in the future as well, but he's got there first.
Is this revenge for the Ark?
No. This is not problematic, as far as I know. It's just weird. But weird's not bad by itself. Shall I tell us where they can find us? And wrap this up?
Yeah, let's go for it.
You cannot wait to get out of here, can you? I can't say I blame you in the slightest. You can find us on Twitter at ReviewsDoctor. Individually, we're at Rain at the Kuchiri. Freezing Inferno is at Freezing Inferno, and Cat is at Concave Usurper. We all have Twitch pages. / the Kuchiri, / Concave Usurper, / Freezing Inferno, and I can confirm at last, twitch.tv / Rainiac, because we're on for Fall Guys relaunch stream. And that will be happening. Now, I don't know when this podcast is going up. I'm hoping to get it done by Tuesday and uploaded. So if that's the case, the Fall Guys stream will be going out the day after this goes up. But I can't be certain whether I'll have the time to upload and put this up in time. So let's just say Wednesday. And let's say Wednesday around about 7 o'clock my time. And we're going to get some people together, of which I believe Kuchiri has volunteered to be one of them.
Yes, volunteered.
That makes it sound like I've imposed it on him. Thanks for that.
No, it's a joke. No, I like Fall Guys.
You thought you were a terrible person, but spoilers, it was me, Dio. No, we're gonna I'm gonna play through hopefully some of the new rounds because they've added a lot of content when they go free to play. They've also made some decisions that I don't entirely agree with. But the game is free to play, so anyone can download it on Steam or any of the platforms it's on, and hopefully join in with the fun. And we'll see where we go from there. And I don't know if streams will be a regular thing for me or not, but I definitely want to do this. Have wanted to do this for some time. And now that I know that my plans for the week are finalised and I can do it on Wednesday, that's when I'll be doing it. Because it gives people a day to download the game if I don't do it on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So, to wrap up then, I want to thank Kuchiri for picking the arc. I know we've had jokes about it. Oh, you're a terrible person. But this was a brave choice.
And I think we had a very healthy discussion from it. Yeah, we
did.
went off some tangents, and we probably canceled ourselves like 5 times over. And
don't you start, but...
We're probably uninvited from all the cookouts. And
oh, no. You had to bring up the cookout, didn't you?
No, but I think we had a healthy discussion. I wish I would have had, because Frezno felt very strongly about this episode. Kind of was hoping that
out there in the pre-recorded bits. That's all right.
Yeah, I mean, we also had like a quick 5-minute discussion about this last week, but it would have been cool in a more full format to just bounce off each other and counter-argument stuff. But...
yeah, I have been liking the 3-person dynamic we've had going. We've rotated out, but it wasn't to be, and that's fine. The show must go on. And it did, and I thank you for making it work as well as it has. Before I forget, you can buy The Tower Through the Trees by Sean Dillon on Amazon.com. You can buy Better Than Power Volumes 1 and 2 by Krista Bittier on Amazon.com as well. Links are in the description below as always. And all that remains is to say that join us next time as Frezno rejoins us and Tom Baker stars in Meglos. Until then, bye for now.
Bye-bye.